So in this example, let's take a look at how we can do our UVs again and assign a texture to our objects. So here I have 3 bins, and what I'm going to show you in this example is slightly different. In this case, the UVs have already been done, and this might be very common when you're working with a group, that someone else might do the UVs, someone else might do the textures, and you might be just making sure everything works together, making sure the UVs, the textures fit to the UVs. Now in smaller productions, sometimes only 1 or 2 people may do the same thing. Sometimes it's spread across, and depends really on the production. So right now in this case, what I've got is I've got all these bins over here, and if I go to my, let's say go to the layouts and perspective UV texture editor, you can see the UVs already been done. So I don't need to really do the UVs, and the textures have already been done, which I'll show you in a second. So here's the UVs for this guy. So what I've done is collectively I've applied the same shader to this one and this one. So they both sit in this UV shell right here. And if I go to File, View Image, and if I open the green, you can see that that's the UV for that. And then I have the red, and then I have the blue. So I received this as an FBX file, so my job right now is I'm just putting everything together in Maya. And this is, like I said, you might run into a situation like this where you're receiving files in a different file format and you're still putting together in your software of choice, and you're just exporting it out as a game for the game. So right now what I'm going to do is simply take this one and go to my Hypershade right over here, and let's go and click on Graph Materials on Selected Objects. So I've applied this Lambert shader over here. Now, like I said, again, these might have been done in a lot of different ways. Someone might have just selected this and just done a simple automatic mapping. So let's say if I go to this one right here in polygons, if I delete the UVs, and if I select the object again, and if I do a simple automatic map, you can see how they're separated out. So, or you can also select, let's say if I go to polygons, delete UVs again in this case, I can also just select that face and do, let's say, a planar map. Let's say from the z-axis, because the z-axis is pointing in the direction of the face. So that's the front face right there, which I can position over here. And then if I go to Edit, Invert Selection, for the rest of it, maybe it was done with automatic UVs. So again, it's really a lot of different ways you can do UVs. I'm just going to undo. I'm just going to undo till we get back. So let's focus on this one right here, and the same will apply to the others. So I'll select this, I'll go to my Hypershade, and simply go to the file, and middle mouse button, drag and drop it, and go to the color channel. Double click on the file, and I'm simply going to apply the green texture. And if this doesn't show up properly over here, sometimes you just might want to right click and refresh. And this one looks like it needs to be refreshed more. If it doesn't, don't worry, it's still applied. So right now the texture was already applied, so I shouldn't have to reapply it. If I just click on this, you can see there's our texture. And if I select this one and this one, you can see that clearly it's not matching, as you can see all the patches over here. So this over here, the bottom piece, is pretty much this area and these guys, and this one over here is pretty much that top area right over there. So let's go one by one. So it looks like this compost area over here is pretty much nicely matching all these UVs. Looks like these bottom pieces over here are also nicely matching for this guy. The problem is with this one. So if I select this again, you can see that they're clearly offset. So like I said, this is again another common workflow where you might receive your files from someone, and your job is really now to just align these. So it's relatively easy in my opinion. So if you just go here, I can select the UVs. Now you can see I selected this one accidentally. So if you just wanted to grab this shell over here, you simply select one UV and you hold down Control on your keyboard and right click and say to shell, and it'll pretty much select that shell. But in this case, this shell is separate from this, so all I'm going to do is right now just go really close, Control and Shift, So I'm holding down Control and Shift on my keyboard, and I'm simply doing this. Oops, let's go back to perspective, UV texture editor. And let's go, my space bar isn't working for some reason, so no problem, we can just go right here. In fact, I can just be right over here. And if you wanted to check which area I'm working on, you can see it's that one right there. So I can just check over here, and it's not that section, it's only this section right here. So I can just go here and lay them down nicely. Same thing over here, I can select these. I'm holding down Control and Shift. And simply put them over here. And these guys, let's see where they are. They're not on this side. And you can see that the UVs, wherever the UVs are selected, so they are right over there. So I can just lay them down nicely over here. And some of them might be a little tricky, so you just have to go and slowly work your way around. So I'm just putting everything right here. Now you can see that these, I want to select these first and move them out of the way. So I can just, that way I can just move these guys first. So let's move these guys in first. Let's fix this guy. And same thing, we can move this guy or move this guy down and move this one. So let's just pretty much, I'm just going to start matching everything. And a good idea is to always look at what you're doing. So right now I'm focusing on this one. And you can see that there's all this right here. So pretty much what I can do is I can move these right over here, and you can see that nicely fixed that. And this is over here is not belonging to this UV set, so let's not worry about that. And pretty much put it in the green again. There's looks like some spike coming out over there, so we can fix that as well. So actually there's two. So what I like to do in those cases is simply select these. Obviously you got to know where they're coming out from. And if it's hard to see, like green on green over here, I always like to go to wireframe. And there you go. That's a little guy right there. So you can also do a V to vertex snap this. So that's one more thing I like to do. So hold down V as in vertex snap, and you can simply snap this over here. Same thing. And in fact, these guys can simply be here. And in fact, that one could have been there. But since it's only on green, I really don't have a problem. And got to be careful over here, because you can see that we are slightly going into that area. Unless you want it that way, but then this line should be in the green and this line should be in the green too. So what I'm going to do is simply cheat a little bit and pull this inside. And with that, if I go back to right here, that should be fixed. So again, we still got a lot of different areas which we need to fix. You can also right click UV over here and select, and it'll tell you, oh, that's that UV over there, and that's that guy, and then there's that guy. So again, you can start fixing these. So I can just move this over here, or move this entire thing right over here inside. And then we've got this big one. So a lot of different areas again over here. So again, it's just a matter of moving these and matching these over here. So like I said, again, this can be sometimes a workflow too. This may happen in a production sometimes, where you get the UVs and you get it from someone else, and they're maybe done in different software at times, and they're not aligned. So you will have to go and align them. Not a very common workflow, but this can happen if you're sharing files with people. So there you go. There's your compost, and start doing the others.